Have you ever wondered how Parra for Cuva makes his tracks? Then stay tuned, because in today's video I'm going to show you exactly how to make a track that sounds like Parra for Cuva. Hey guys, my name is Max Blücher and I've created this track called Amber actually a couple months ago. And the funny thing is, when I created the track, I never even thought of making a track that sounds like Parra for Cuva, and then I've released it, which in the end was kind of a full circle moment. So let me share with you how I made it today and the production choices I took while I created Amber. The track sounds like this. Okay, now you have a rough taste of like how the track sounds like. So let's break it down. So the most important part in this entire track are the lead elements. So for the lead, as you can hear already, I created this melody. And the way I made this melody was quite simple. I simply took a piano and I took the Spitfire audio piano. Let me just use this one for example. And what I basically did is I activated an ARP here on an 8th note setting, and I made it sustained, so it would always play the chords in a sustained, repetitive manner. Now what's important here is for you not to have these like glitches in between notes. You have to really make sure that it's all very quantized. For example, here it's not super quantized, so you have to really make sure to align all these notes up so the ARP actually works properly and can make like smooth transitions like this. And once you have that, the next step is quite simple. Just boost some of the mids and some of the highs. And you should be all good to go. Now, the next step would be to add a Kickstarter too from Nicky Romeo, which I absolutely love. And there you go. And if you export this into audio through this bounce and place function, you'll end up with a waveform like this. And the second most interesting part in this production, as a second lead element, is this vocal chop here. And I still vividly remember how I found this vocal sample on Splice and I dragged it into the sampler and I basically chopped it up in a place that I liked. So the original sounds like this. And it doesn't even sound anything like this chopped up vocal. And now I basically just played it around with it. I pulled the audio into the sampler in Logic and I sliced it up. And then I just kind of played around my keyboard while having an ARP on it on an 8th note setting. This time though, the ARP is not in a chord mode. I'm just playing it freely in the live mode. And then I came up with this melody. And it just keeps playing this until I create some variation here with a second layer. Just duplicated this channel. And then I improvised a bit around here and I came up with this melody. And as you can see, I'm just jumping around these transients here and it's super easy. I'm just jumping around those notes on the main vocal. So that is basically the entire lead section. Now from time to time I introduce another layer here, for example, just to create some more variation, but that is basically it. I then moved forward to the break, and here I basically have another piano melody. It's the same piano melody, only with a couple chord changes, and I kept it nice and human, which is why I didn't quantize it as heavily as this section I created for the piano. As you can see, I had to correct it here earlier. But yeah, that's basically it. And then I always love to add violins from originals as well in the same chord progression. And then another violin layer. This time the different settings on originals. It's called strings pizzicato. And another strings short layer. And then for this drop, I'm basically building it up again with another piano layer. And I love to do this. I love to kind of just record a melody and then just add a delay here. And if you add like a quarter dotted delay in the memory setting, for example, with this Echo Boy JR, you can create this really cool atmospheric effect almost. And I just use some simple processing here. So it's really nothing fancy. On the piano, it's always important that you also have something to boost the high end here. So I used a lot of the time this Z cube from Soundtoys. Just boosted the high end. Yeah, the second drop, the lead melody, super simple. Literally just this. So this time just a single note playing on the piano. And I think something that's giving this break like the most beautiful amount of variation is this. Those bent notes. So the way I like to create these like bends, it's pretty easy. So you find a sample, or what I like to sometimes do, I play it on my piano, and then I like to add Echo Boy JR, and it's really important that it's in this glide mode, that this is on here. And then you go to a higher like setting, like a transmitter setting. If you do this in the memory setting, you wouldn't hear it that much because the transmitter setting is actually boosting the high end of the signal. So now you can play around with the echo time here. And if you change it to a shorter rhythm, the pitch bend will go up. If you change it to a lower rhythm, the pitch bend will go down. Now all you have to do is time it correctly, the right timing, enhance the feedback, and you should end up with something like this. And you can even add another, like, what I like to do is I have another delay in front of it or behind it to enhance that delay effect. So you can kind of like experiment around with multiple delays and see what it does if you glitch them around. And yeah, then it builds up. I'm not gonna talk too much about the atmospheric effects because it's quite simple here. It's just some effects from splice, some normal risers, the basic stuff. But what is cool in this second part here is, again, alchemy, which I use in every single project. So just alchemy, you know, modulating X and Y here around alchemy and logic to create these beautiful atmospheres. And adding some crystallizer from Soundtoys is, for example, also beautiful here. And yeah, keeping it super minimalistic and simple is the key. For the bass, as always, I used BTT Vision Sub 2. It sounds like this. And then I layered it with another mid bass. And together they sound like this. Then a simple kick from Kick 2. Nothing special going on here. And yeah, the drum groove is simple as well. Let me show you what I did here. So I used some fast hats. And some toms. Some hats. Rides. More hats. And then of course what is really important to have some send. So I had one send effect for the general room ambience, one send for the drums, and just one for larger elements, so a larger hall send. And then I basically sent them all more or less through that send. And then yeah guys, that's basically it. It's pretty simple. And I think something that made this production also really unique, if I would have just let this second drop keep playing, it would have gotten quite boring eventually. So in the second half, like after a few bars, I introduced this new melody, which added like a beautiful touch to it. And then here I'm pulling the track back to where it started off. And now you're basically here. Now these are the two audio files, only that this one is pitched up and this one isn't pitched up. So simply pitch this one up in Logic, and it's just giving me such a big advantage. And the key difference is that if you pitch up audio, it sometimes glitches or sounds a bit different. That just sounds so much more human and organic, in my opinion, than if you do it through MIDI. Through MIDI, a lot of things can sound a bit like dehumanized and a bit too robotic, and through audio you can really get this like organic effect. So this is what I absolutely love through audio. And yeah, I love the way this piano turned out. And then it keeps building with some cymbals. And as you can see, it's the exact same structure. Like from this point on, it's basically the exact same as the beginning. Only difference is that I added here 2 more, or actually 3 more drum groups. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Like introducing a shaker in the second drop to give it more energy. But yeah, breaking this down, it's quite simple. Lead melody 1, then lead element 2, bass, kick, couple of drums, toms always for variation because we have a sustained bass line, nice atmospheric break, and after the break introducing a shaker for energy in the second drop, and then some rides after we introduce the main melody from the start. And yeah guys, there you have it. That's the full Parra for Cuva breakdown, how you can make a track that sounds like Parra for Cuva, or in this case maybe Parra for Cuva mixed with myself. And yeah, so there you go. I hope this helped. I hope you can take a couple ideas away here into the studio, into your own studio. Yeah, have a beautiful day, take care, and don't forget to check out maxbluchermusic.com for more resources, and also make sure to like and subscribe. Have a beautiful day, take care, I see you guys so soon, bye bye.